Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and welcome to the dining room of Castle Ravenloft, originally imagined by Tracy and Laura Hickman in their I6 Dungeons & Dragons supplement. Now, I started working on this room a while ago. I got the table in, I got the pillars and some of the walls and the organ and the chicken. Not supposed to be a chicken till dinner time. Not dinner time yet. But what we don't have is we don't have an arch ceiling, and we do not have chandeliers. There's supposed to be about 3 chandeliers in this room. So we need to figure out where they would go, or like how they would be centered. I'm kind of thinking if we centered one chandelier here, let's just say we had it about here. Now I don't have any fancy chandelier making materials with me. We're just trying to spitball where this would go. So this is 2 blocks away from this wall. And then we had one 2 blocks away from this wall. I hope those aren't hooked up to any redstone, because I might have just closed the gate, which takes forever to rebuild. Actually, if it was 2 blocks away from that wall, it would be even closer. So that chandelier would technically be centered right here. Now, we need to have it high enough up that it's not striking into the organ, though. So whatever we do in terms of arching our ceilings, right now we just have this squared off based on the height of the elevation described in the book. But we're going to want to actually have this could be some sort of more graceful curvature. It says in the book that there's 3 enormous chandeliers. So what I'm kind of thinking we could do, well, if they're too close to each other, the fence posts will even touch. So we could have one higher up, and in order to get this generally centered in the room properly, what we could do is we could have one of the chandeliers be starting here. One of them's there, and then in the center of the table where we have this one, we come way higher and have a chandelier here. Now this still gives us plenty of room to have our big vaulted ceiling and sort this out, but I need to go ahead and get the materials to actually do the vault in and get the ceiling started, figure out exactly what kind of arch we want. So let me get on that now. Time skip! As you can see, when you put chandeliers in a dining room, everything is better. Just look at... No, wait, just kidding. I did make some progress on the dining room, but then I realized reading the description in the book, there's supposed to be some big mirrors on either side of the organ. So I thought, wow, how am I going to solve this organ fail? You know, maybe what I should do is I should go find some ores for the organ that are reflective not only of what's in my heart, but also of, like, light and photonic activity in general, you know? So, you know, that might also be a hint when you're dealing with a vampire, like maybe he's not reflected in the mirrors. So I thought, well, glass doesn't really reflect anything in Minecraft, but neither does anything else. What if I went and got some diamonds with my fortune pick here? And so I started digging. Way down there is the tunnel where I found the first set of diamonds that I used, or the most recent set of diamonds that I used. I was like, okay, I know that this worked once, so I'm just going to keep going. Let's see how it goes. So I'm already up to 12 diamonds here. But here's the funny thing, is when I started digging that tunnel off camera, well, I actually found more than one pack of diamonds. Boom, we're up to 30 already. In fact, I found 3 of these. Isn't that great, guys? So this is really more than enough. 46. That's enough diamonds to make some real, what do you call them? Vampire height mirrors. They're not floor to ceiling, because this room has a ludicrously dangerously high ceiling, which we'll see in just a second. But, you know, it's funny, I don't know exactly how everything works in every video game, but, you know, when I hit the second set of diamonds, so close to where I'd found the first set a few weeks ago, I was like, maybe I should keep going here. And clearly it panned out. I found 4 veins of diamonds in a row. Although, granted, I found the first one like weeks ago, but still, you know, that was a good experiment to follow through on. I'm not going to keep going further because I got enough diamonds at this point to go work on what I actually need to do. But I did want to talk a little bit about the fun of probability and games that generally slant things certain ways probabilistically, but have a large amount of variance in them anyway. So I've been watching a lot of hockey since the Nashville Predators are doing really well in the NHL playoffs. For those of you who don't know, the NHL is the National Hockey League. It's not the Nashville Hockey League, though I have written several strongly worded letters to the commissioner of the NHL suggesting they rename it. I think that there's a lot there. But you know what? Okay, so if we take the diamonds we have so far, and we go to this block thing, how many diamonds can we make? 6. Awesome, that's enough for our mirrors. And you know what we're going to do is we're going to throw some sticks on the ground too. Now we'll store some of this. Some of these things I can place in various other areas on the way. We'll drop the lapis off where the lapis goes. Oh, it's dark out. Let's sleep real quick. But anyway, so like in some sports like baseball or basketball, there's a lot of control over the field environment. And one of the things I've really enjoyed about watching hockey is that you can have the best players in the world face to face, and the puck will bounce off the ice in ways that they are going to do their best to react to, but it's not a solved problem. Like, they are still doing their best to improvise in relation to the way that a piece of frozen rubber bounces off a sheet of frozen water. And it's good, I think. It keeps people humble to be able to be the best in the world at something and still have to deal with the fundamental physics of how crystal lattices and vulcanized rubber interact. Like, it feels right. So you'll see the best players in the world make these amazing plays, pulling off incredible stunts, and then 5 minutes later, the puck will just bounce past them in a way where you're like, okay, I'm not a professional hockey player, but I could have caught that. And you could tell they're kind of like annoyed that it did bounce past them in that way, but it's not that they're bad at hockey. They're the best at hockey. But the puck follows certain rules of its own. It's not, even though it's a game with rules created by people, it's in touch with nature. If you consider nature vulcanized rubber in a cylindrical form that's an inch thick and being hit by sticks of laminated wood. I don't know, maybe my idea of nature is warped, but I think that there's something there that is pleasing to me. So, oh yeah, here we are back at Castle Ravenloft, or at least my model of it. The original Castle Ravenloft was designed by Tracy and Laura Hickman in 1983 for the i6 module for Dungeons & Dragons. Now, as I mentioned off camera, I have been working on these chandeliers and this roof. You know, this doesn't make the room perfect, but it adds something. It's better than it was. Like, this is still, in some ways, a cozy but grand room. This is where the king entertains his honored guests, you know? He doesn't need 100 chairs in this dining room, because 100 people aren't worthy of his presence, you know? Now, one thing we are short on here, like I said, there's supposed to be mirrors on either side of the organ. So we're just gonna, whoa, I always forget that those are switches. And this is actually literally a switch. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do about making that activatable later. But at least, one nice thing about this mirror thing, though, is it does actually stop the players from, hitting that switch before it's time. Actually, let's go one higher here. Boom. So now we have the mirrors on either side of the organ. That reads as a mirror. Now the actual organ, I've got my shortcut to my workroom back there. But yeah, the actual room should look a lot more like this. And it's pretty good. Now, I was thinking about bringing this marble all the way to the ceiling. And, the back wall should probably be marbled. Oh, and this wall should probably be marbled too. Guys, maybe we need to go to the marble store, which, dang it, I need to go to my storeroom first. Because the thing about marble, or quartz as they call it in the nether, is that we really just need to make a ton of room in our inventory and then go wander around the nether collecting quartz. Like, there's not a lot of shortcuts or quartz cuts to collecting quartz in this. Well, twinkle my toes, look at this. I'm just walking around on these flaming magma bricks, and my feet are completely unassailed by the heat thanks to this amazing potion. Why can't I see the potion? How do I... What? There it is. Fire resistance. 7 minutes. We're going to put another one in here, just in case we need it, because, if we fall in this lava and it goes bad, yeah, that's bad for us. Hey, I see some quartz already. So, we are just going to run on over that way. I figure if I just wander around the nether, like, there might just be some quartz lying around, right? And, oh, I was going to say, I better not fall in the lava, but that's actually not that big of a concern. Now, technically, silk touching the quartz is going to be better for me from a storage perspective, because I can fortune pickaxe it later once I get home. And I can, in theory, capture much more quartz in the process. Now, do I actually need enough quartz for that to matter? That is hard to say, you know? Not like it's unpronounceable, because having enough quartz to... well, it is hard to say if I don't remember what I was going to say. I feel like I was going to say something about quartz. But anyway, it's hard to say. Uh-oh. Accidentally hit that one and got a little bit of experience, a little bit of quartz there. That's okay. So we're going to say that I got dinged. Let's make a game out of this. I lost 1 point for accidentally breaking one quartz with the wrong block. You guys can keep track at home. So, anyway, other stuff that I wanted to talk about this episode. Why didn't I bring a flame maker? Oh my goodness, that was a mistake. Ah, dang it. Got dinged again. I've been trying to get my daughter out of the house a little bit this weekend. We had a bit of fun yesterday. We went to the Nashville Symphony's Schoolhouse Rock Live, which I didn't really know what to expect, because I've been to the Nashville Symphony before for like some actual normal symphony stuff, and I've been there for their Zelda Symphony that they did a while back. That was really cool. And my daughter, though, had someone come to her class and who's a musician in the symphony and talk to them about it. So she came home from that recently and was like, Daddy, I want to go to the symphony. I was good when the musician was playing music, so I think I should get to go. And, you know, it's hard to argue with logic like that, because she should get to go to the symphony. That's legitimately a good thing for a child to participate in. But, and like, especially too, though, like, one of the points of living in a big city like Nashville is to participate in the artistic community, you know? Like, when I was going to high school in Tullahoma, Tennessee, if we wanted to go to the symphony, we'd have to drive 80 miles, or 80 minutes, I don't know. We were going about 60 miles an hour on average, so it works out. But, you know, it's kind of one of those things where I want to, you know, embrace the fact that, hey, we live in a real city, let's go do real city things. So, took her to the symphony for the Schoolhouse Rock thing, and I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go, because they said, like, yeah, we're going to feature the Conjunction Junction, I'm Just a Bill, and Mother Necessity, and other favorites. And I was like, oh, okay. I wonder which other favorites they're going to have. Interestingly, every one of the... What is that noise? Is that like a wither skull noise? Okay. Well, regardless, every one of the other favorites they had was not a song from Schoolhouse Rock. They had the overture from Deflator Mouse. They had the 1812 overture. They had the theme from the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones, which sounds really good live, actually. But, you know, and my wife was like, oh, this is a really interesting arrangement. You know, I wonder who worked on this. And I'm like, the people who made the movie The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. But, you know, you don't talk to your wife with that voice. That's actually really bad. But I knew that to be true. So, anyway, that was something where I had an opportunity to be a jerk, and I didn't take it. So, I should get opposite of dings for that. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be a lot of quartz around here directly. So we can start, like, hemming and hawing away over here, looking for more. And I mean, there might always be some in the walls, but I prefer to go where there's, like, a clear course of quartz, or a vein of quartz, even. But, oh, here we go. Here's some quartz. Can I also get some lava out here for light? Yeah, we're just gonna wipe out some of this. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Clear line of sights. Yeah, there you go. Clear line of sight is always good in Minecraft when you're recording videos. So yeah, where was I? Okay, well, it might be a little bit hard to recover some of that quartz, but we're gonna use the Silk Touch to get some of these without any real trouble. But yeah, Corinne was really good for the whole symphony, and that was pleasing. Because, you know, with kids, it's hard to know whether or not they're actually going to be as patient as they claim they're going to be. Like, oh, I'll be good. It's like, will you? Yeah. They're not. This time she was. Dang it. Okay. Well, anyway. So, yeah, we had a really good time downtown at the Symphony. And, they had some cool stuff before the show, too. They had a thing where kids could make their own Schoolhouse Rock schoolhouse out of pieces of, like, foam. And they had an instrument petting zoo, they called it, where musicians who perform in the show, actually, will let kids hold and play their instruments. So, like, Corinne got to play a little cello and a harp. And she was like, when she first got the cello, she starts working the boat. Dang it! And she's just, like, terrified. Like, oh, no, everyone can see me. Am I going to mess this up? And we're like, Corinne, you're doing a great job. You want to smile for the camera? And then she was, like, all of a sudden really happy. Because she was like, okay, I am doing a great job. This could be so much worse. You know? Yeah, so, like, if you guys have symphonies or whatever in your area, like, definitely check out what they've got going on. Because there might be something that would be of interest to your family. Like, not every show they do... Why is that not lighting up? Not every show that the Nashville Orchestra has is going to have kid-friendly stuff like that beforehand, or even just a kid-friendly schedule like that. But, one thing that was neat, too, was that for the songs that had words, they had the Belmont University, which is a pretty big school in Nashville. They had the Belmont University Theater Group, or theater program, perform, like, several of the songs and do some acting with them and stuff. And the guy who sang I'm Just a Bill was ludicrously good. Like, amazingly high quality in terms of, like, his vocal performance. I'm not a musician, I don't have the words for it, but it was really silly. He was a silly dancer, but he was singing amazingly well. And so the kids loved it, the grown-ups enjoyed it, they appreciated the quality. I guess at the point where you're bringing in, like, dozens of people for a symphonic experience, you might as well get a good vocal performer. So they did! It was nice. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, other stuff about... So this is all loosely related in terms of, like, these are things that I did this weekend. But yeah, so I watched hockey, and I took my daughter to the Symphony, and one of the other things I did was I took Corinne ice skating, and we do not want to go into that lava, because I think, yeah, our thing just ran out. Boom. 8 more minutes of not dying. Yeah! Take that, Grim Reaper. The heat will not kill me. I'll be slain by my own stupidity and other new creative ways. That's the Joe Hill's difference. We started off by adding quartz along this wall here. I came around and added it to that wall there. We've got mirrors, we've got chandeliers, and you know what? We have no fear. This is a room that I think could possibly be improved on. You know, if I had enough quartz to knock out this wall here and this one as well, I think I'd do it. But it took a long time to gather enough quartz just for that. I mean, this is a lot of quartz, you know. So I did adjust the torches a little bit, and down the line we'll get some food or something on the table. I'll sort that out. But yeah, this space here, I moved some torches up just to get them off the ground. And I think that on the whole, this is just a better dining experience. So we talked a lot about experiences today. We talked about hockey experiences, symphonic experiences. But, you know, I'm ready to close the door on this episode. Oh, wait, not yet. Because you might have noticed that this episode was mid-roll ad-free. And that's thanks to our $50 a month Patreon sponsor, EagleFam. So in lieu of that mid-roll ad, I will now read a poem I wrote myself. If triangular polygons are the atomic unit of the 3D models in our games, rectangular ones must have the same meaning for buildings on our streets. I ride past boxy plots with boxy buildings reduced in complexity to be rendered more quickly. Workers rise up structures in frames per hour. Until next time, y'all, This is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.